This farmers market, about 40 minutes from the heart of Melbourne, is pitched as a community event.
Add some vanilla ice cream and you're in heaven.
But it's not all fresh produce and crystals.
There's nothing wrong with questioning. And doesn't mean you're a conspiracy theorist, you just question, you ask, and you find out.
The red ensign is Australia's maritime flag. But it's also become a defining symbol for so-called sovereign citizens, people who believe the law of the land does not apply to them.
The Freemasons took over our culture.
The same flag has been waved at demonstrations over COVID lockdowns and vaccines.
If you don't comply or agree with what you're being told you have to do, then you can be just shunned and cut off from society. They've already shown that 2 years ago. A lot of people in this country were discriminated against because they chose a particular path forward for their health.
Darren Bergwerf is the founder of My Place, an organisation originally set up for people opposed to COVID mandates. It's evolved. As well as the monthly farmers market, guest speakers and yoga classes, My Place offers courses for parents who want to homeschool their children.
If you're happy with the system, then you're in the system.
So you're outside the system?
Well, we're not outside because you can't be. You can't be outside completely, but we are transitioning.
Darren stood as an independent in last year's federal and Victorian state elections. He was endorsed by Ricardo Bossi, who heads a party called Australia One.
The polity, the bureaucracy, the judiciary, the military, the media, everybody is up for the high jump. If they deserve it. If they deserve to hang, they will hang.
Ricardo has made some
pretty strong
statements
Yep.
about hanging politicians, bureaucrats, judges, healthcare workers.
He has.
Do you agree with that?
No.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How about we start with 3 cheers for the big man himself.
Ricardo Bossi was invited to speak at My Place in November, well after his repeated comments advocating violence became public.
He has his views, they aren't my views. There'll be people in here that have views that aren't my views also. We're trying to be in the middle and be collaborative and not divisive.
In a democratic society, people are allowed to hold extreme views, they're allowed to hold fringe views. The major concern here is the potential for that, however, to not only translate into violent extremism, where people actually seek to enact that through violent means, but also anti-democratic extremism.
Darren Bergwerf says he condemns violence. In recent weeks, he shared anti-Semitic conspiracy theories to My Place followers on social media.
This is the language that Nazis use.
No, it's not. That's your term. That's your term, and that's the term of the mainstream media, calling people that want to out the truth, right, and expose what's going on. They get labelled, right? We shouldn't be getting labelled.
But the video you shared talked about the fabricated Holocaust. Do you believe that was fabricated?
I have no idea.
What do you mean? It's an established fact of history. It was an abhorrent event.
I think you'll find over the next 6 months, there's a lot of so-called established facts of history.
So you don't believe in the Holocaust?
I don't know, one way or another. I wasn't there.
Where?
Back in Thingo. So I don't know that as being fact unless I'm actually there. So it's all kind of, reports.
I think what we're seeing around the world and not only in Australia is that disinformation is very easy to spread, and that includes conspiracy theories, is very easy to spread through social media.
Around the country, local councils have become the new frontier for conspiracy theorists.
We the people demand to make a citizen's arrest of the councillors, please. Tyranny and thuggery is well alive in South Australia's city of Onkaparinga today.
From South Australia to Victoria,
I would like to see any negative research that you have done re 5G towers. If not, what insurance company are you using so that we can have them on quick dial?
Are you going to listen? Are you going to let me continue with tonight's agenda? As a result of the disorder and disruption from the gallery tonight, and in the interests of good governance, I now call this meeting to be adjourned.
To the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, councils are facing a new wave of radicalised ratepayers.
It was a large number of people in the room that were, I think, a little bit agitated going into the thing. They didn't want to hear what the reality was. They were there to push their agenda.
One of the elected representatives on Cessnock Council appears to be closely associated with My Place. While the councillor denied any knowledge of the group, Mayor Jay Savall says the public gallery's conduct during debate at a recent council meeting caused actual distress to other elected members.
We had one female councillor in particular had left the room and was quite concerned and actually going and looking for places that what happened if the crowd turned violent, where she could find a safe place to get away from them.
What we're seeing here is a movement that is quite politically extreme in its outlook. What we're seeing here is a new manifestation of the freedom movement protests, albeit in a more formal manner.
Analysis of social media sites shared with 730 shows thousands of people are following My Place groups across 5 states. An internal presentation reveals branches associated with the brand have been urged to attend local council meetings to dominate voting and discussion, hoping to establish constant control.
So the fight that we've got is not in Melbourne, walking the streets, and it's not at Canberra. The fight is at your local council, and the fight's in your own backyard.
In the outer Melbourne suburb of Frankston, the local mayor has a bizarre rival. My Place leader Darren Bergwerf calls himself the actual mayor and leads a shadow council.
What powers do you have as mayor?
We don't. We have 300 members or thereabouts of our council. We put out a newsletter once a fortnight, and we report on local issues. We try and grow our membership and the awareness, and the fact that we're sticking up and actually doing a community service. As people realise and they see what's actually going on at the local council, our group will grow.
They might be saying at this point in time that they want to run in parallel, but I don't think they have any intention whatsoever of abiding by that commitment. I think the idea is that you set up the new system supposedly in parallel initially, with a view eventually to replacing the system that you see as corrupt and wrong.
My Place continues to convert new followers around the country. Gail Ash found My Place on Facebook and now describes the group as family.
I go to the council meetings now because I want to know. I did question the CEO of my local council about 5G towers, and he couldn't answer me.
You've met a lot of the people here. Right? We're just normal people doing stuff that I don't want to be doing. I should be working with my 17-year-old son. I've given that up for the last 18 months to do this because I believe that this country's in peril.